The Fitbit Ionic. When I first read it, I thought it said iconic, and I was like, well, that's kind of weird because it looks exactly like a Fitbit Blaze, and I don't think that's something you want to be iconic of, but the list of features for this smartwatch are quite impressive. It basically is the Apple Watch Series 2, and I do legitimately mean that. It's very, very obvious that they were just trying to replicate the entire experience and list of features you can get with an Apple Watch Series 2 and provide a slightly larger battery life with a couple more options, you know, like continuous heart rate monitoring, and of course with that longer battery life, you get sleep tracking. Oh, I should sleep better tomorrow. Okay. You know, useful things. But what made me laugh even harder, and I just have to say this out the front, they partnered with Adidas just like Apple partnered with Nike, and the Adidas combination version has a bunch of holes in the watch band, just like the Nike version. Oh, and it made me smile so big while watching it. I was like, really? You're gonna replicate the Nike partnership just with the other company that makes sportswear? Okay, that's a little bit on the nose, but go for it. So if you know the features for the Apple Watch Series 2, you pretty much know this one. You've got 50 meters deep of water resistance, you've got built-in GPS, and luckily, now Fitbit has a mobile payment system so you can pay for things on your Fitbit Ionic, which I still gotta get used to. Credit where credit is due, the display on this thing does look like it goes far more to the edge than it did on the Fitbit Blaze, which had a microscopic display, I might add. This looks like it has a bit more colors and a bit more vibrancy, though to save that battery life, based on some of the videos I've seen of the Fitbit Ionic, it looks like the frame rate is significantly lower than it would be on an Apple Watch. Apple always tries to make the watch look very fluid, and the display looks very natural, and they try to use that OLED display to its full capability by keeping a lot of the pixels flat off. That way the black parts of the screen blend in with the bezels around the watch, whereas with the Ionic, it looks like they're kind of pushing the pixels all the way to the side as much as they can. But of course, the big difference with the Fitbit Ionic than that of the previous Fitbit devices is this now supports Fitbit's third-party system, which is likely a result of them buying Pebble. Pebble had a third-party system where lots of people could develop apps for it, and on this one, if you want to have apps published on the Fitbit store or App Store or whatever, they have to be verified by Fitbit, or you can make apps yourself and just share them to you and your friends. And you can do that just on any old website. So they're opening up the horizon of what a Fitbit can be. However, why did you have to put your logo right on the front of the device? I don't think you need to do that. If you want the watch to be fashionable, which based on a lot of the comments I'm hearing about the Fitbit Ionic, the general consensus is it looks a little ugly. It's just kind of very, very boxy, and especially that Adidas version that almost looks like an Apple Watch Nike band knockoff. It's like, no, guys, you can't just add a couple more holes and say that's your own design. Come on. That's where I think this Fitbit may be lacking. Functionally, it seems really cool, and I like that it's $300, so it is undercutting the Apple Watch Series 2 by a little bit, not by a long shot, but it is cheaper. But I think the ultimate doom of this thing is going to be its design. People are not going to be lining up to buy it. It doesn't look like something that's very fashionable, and I'm sure that the watch bands and the different models of the Fitbit Ionic are not as diverse or aesthetically pleasing as that of the Apple Watch, which has 6 to 7 different colors and billions of different watch bands, both third-party and from Apple, that are really great. I have too many myself, but let's hope there's some people out there who look past the aesthetics and say, well, it's not the prettiest watch in the world, but it's very, very functional. It has a great battery life. It's waterproof. It's got built-in GPS and the mobile payment system, and of course delivers notifications. Works with Android, iOS, or even Windows. Really? Windows? You really wanted to optimize it for that? You're sure? Was that a conscious decision? Okay, you know what? The more the merrier, I guess. I just hope there's people out there who are interested in a device like this. Maybe those who cannot afford the Apple Watch. But it's really impossible not to bring up the Apple Watch in this scenario because we all know that the Series 3 is coming out in a couple of weeks. And that's rumored to have a whole new array of features, and hopefully they'll actually lower the price of the Series 2, and I think that's what Fitbit Ionic needs to worry about. If the price of the Apple Watch Series 2 drops down to like $250, the Fitbit really has no purpose in this market. If there's an Apple Watch that kind of looks better, it has more design options, it works with your iPhone better, there's already a giant app store developed for the Apple Watch, and it would still be cheaper than the Fitbit Ionic. The only reason you'd be buying it is for that expanded battery life and continuous heart monitoring. Not a lot of people need that, and when it comes to wearables that are that close in terms of features and specifications, I think they're gonna take the Apple Watch. But of course, we don't know this for sure. It's entirely possible that Apple will add the third generation of Apple Watch, but but not decrease the price of the Series 2, and perhaps just provide a more expensive option that is the Series 3, or make the Series 3 the same price as the Series 2, but then keep the Series 1 where it is, in which case Fitbit would probably be just fine. You of course can also store music on the Fitbit Ionic, over 300 songs. You know, actually, that's not a terrible stat, but I think the Apple Watch can do the same thing, and Apple Watch connects very, very easily to AirPods. You literally just put your AirPods in, and then when you go to the music app on watchOS 4 anyway, when you press play, it'll ask what you want to play it to, and AirPods will just pop up, and you hit connect. It's so simple. I'm not really seeing how you connect wireless headphones to the Fitbit Ionic. I don't know if you have to go into settings and find Bluetooth. You probably have to do something like that, but I don't want Fitbit to die. I know they're betting a lot on this, and I hope it works out for them. And yeah, there's not a terrible much to say about it. It's kind of just not the Apple Watch Fitbit. Of course, let me know all your thoughts on the Fitbit Ionic in the comments below. I'm still not getting used to that name though. When I say Fitbit and Ionic, I keep trying to say Bionicles, which is that really cool Lego thing when you were little. You used to play with these like Transformer looking Legos. Okay, never mind. Don't judge. I didn't have smartphones as a kid. We had to play with other things. This is your Apple Sheep here, and I will see you in the next one.